Well, good morning, everybody. We're at a special time today. This is Real Estate Talk, TGIF. Thank God it's finale. Yep, I know it's Friday, but that's what my last name is. It's finale, it's an F. So anyway, today we're really, really lucky to have Jorge Ledesma, who is the he is the Chief Executive Officer of the Eastern Bergen County Board of Realtors. Before that, he was a real estate agent and also was the president of the Board of Directors. And here he is in a different role. And George has such a wide range of experience in the real estate industry. And it's always our goal here on Real Estate Talk TGIF to bring in people that also are influencers as well as have different angles toward our business and can help us with different things. You know, last week we had a real seller on, and his biggest desire in a realtor was integrity. And that's something that I think we need to really grow with. And so anyway, let's get moving. George, thanks so much for being on with us today. I know you've got a really, really busy schedule, which is why we're on a little after 9 a.m. Eastern time rather than our usual time of 11. So welcome. Thanks for being on.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for rescheduling the timing.
You're welcome. Listen, so you've been a real estate agent, a successful real estate agent, and you were the president of the board of directors, and you wanted this flight as we talked over the years of knowing each other, and now you find yourself in a position of being the chief executive officer, the executive officer of a board of realtors. So how do you see things differently, or how has all of your experience helped you in your role today, and where do you see your role, where do you see you helping because of your experience?
First and foremost, obviously, thank you once again for inviting me to this. And I think just to answer your question, one of the things that I bring to the table is the fact that I've, so to speak, walked the beaten path. I've been a realtor. I've been boots on ground, or I was, and I know some of the highs and the lows that occur on a day-to-day basis. As a realtor, you wake up every morning without a paycheck, essentially, because you have to close your deals. You have to be able to respond and answer to your clients and customers, whether that may be a seller, whether that may be a buyer, whether that may be a tenant, whatever the case may be. So I think knowing that and coming into this role has allowed me to understand that there can be more reach, and that perhaps the realtor doesn't realize how many resources there are out there, because you have so much going on a day-to-day basis, and there's only 24 hours in a day. So sometimes a lot of the useful information that can come out of an association side gets lost, so to speak.
Right. Okay. So as time goes on, and as you've been in this position for a little bit of time and your experience, where do you think that real estate agents need to change, or if they do at all, need to change in their business or in how the industry is going? Where do you think there should be a change? Is there anything that should change, or should we just keep going the way we're going?
No, definitely. There's change happening, whether we want to accept it or not, whether we realize it or not, especially within the real estate industry itself, because not only has technology, obviously, number one, been a factor just within the last decade that has changed a number of ways that business is just transactionally done, but also you have in this type of market, you have new brokerages with new models coming out that aren't some of your traditional models per se. And so I think the realtor in today's world needs to understand what the market is and how they should be able to adapt, and what they can be providing to the client, to their customer, to the public, to the consumer. What do they bring to the table? And that's really the biggest component of all this, because if a realtor is able to bring something tangible of substance to the table, such as knowing their local market and understanding some of the issues in advance before their client is going to come into these issues. These are things that your conversations with your clients are going to help you sort of let them understand that you are an asset in their not perhaps purchase or perhaps sale or perhaps in any question within the real estate industry that they may have.
I find great answer. I mean, you talked about the traditional models. I mean, do you think the traditional models are going to be around long term, or do you think it's going to be, a complete change into hybrids and stuff?
There's a lot of change that's occurring right now nationally, and keep in mind that there are different rules and regulations per state in essence. Some states require brick and mortar locations for brokerages, where there are others that do not necessarily have that requirement. So, there's a lot of change happening, not just because of technology, but because of the way that the market is evolving as well. So I think dependent on the region of where we may be, those changes may be something that is going to be occurring, and in some areas maybe much more quickly than others.
You know what I see? I mean, I've had an issue. My opinion of issue with ethics over the last few years, and it seems to keep growing as an issue. And I don't know if it has anything to do with the newer models where there's a lot more freedom and agents don't really have anyone to. Well, let's look at it this way. I don't think a lot of agents have a lot of authority figure to look up to in their respective companies. I think that's part of the issue. How do we go about improving the ethical responsibilities of the agents out there? Now, I'm not saying there's a big problem with it. I'm saying that it's an issue, and maybe it always has. I know a lot of people will say education. Yeah, okay. I think it's actually an authority figure that they have to talk to in their office. What do you think?
So what we've traditionally seen as the real estate market starts to heat up, if you will, what ends up occurring is you have more agents that enter the industry within our region, let's say within our area. And when that tends to occur, we've seen that like year over year, more ethical disputes are filed, more arbitrational disputes are filed. And we encourage that on the association side, because that's what the association is here for. If there is a member that just has requests on information for perhaps filing an ethics dispute or filing an arbitrational dispute, we are the platform, if the member is part of our association, for them to do so. And we've noticed that as the market tends to get saturated, if you will, or as the market continues to grow, some of the more agents that have just said, hey, enough is enough. I'm going to do what I can that is within my rights. Keep in mind, all realtors must abide by the Code of Ethics, which is from the National Association of Realtors.
I seem to think that the best way to handle it is for people like me and other people that are in the industry, with the boots on the ground, as you used that expression earlier, to actually self watch it, and with telling people and just doing it as peer pressure. I think that's going to help the ethics a lot, and we need a lot of people to step up to do that. And I kind of see that starting to happen, and I'm really happy about that, because it's always been as a broker owner for 21 years, I saw a lot of issues, and I made so many more phone calls over the years to other brokers. But I do see, each individual agent, trying to help with that. So let's change gears right now.
And that, just 2 quick points to that. You were a broker owner, and contrary to popular belief, a lot of the broker owners know one another, or at some point in their career have interacted with that brokerage or have interacted with one another. So they actually have a relationship. So a lot of the times when there is an issue with, let's say, agents, the broker owners or the broker managers are the ones that really come in and step into play, and are the ones that can sort of perhaps find a resolution before it may get into a filing of an ethical dispute or filing of an arbitration. And I think hands down, that should be encouraged. I mean, because the reality is that if there is an issue, the agent should be speaking with the broker. Keep in mind, the license is hung at the broker's office. So any action that an agent is doing is a reflection of their brokerage. And I, all the brokers I speak with, they know if there's an issue 9 out of 10 times, they have no problem, picking up the phone and speaking with the other broker on the other side to try to find a resolution.
Right. So let's change gears real quick. What do you see as we're in New Jersey? and we're more of a traditional state, and I don't think the state rules have changed much or have changed basically from, you talked about, there has to be a brick and mortar office and stuff. And aside from that, though, what do you see locally as the power of the board? What your actual, position, your actual job is? Where's the power there, and how, and where's your relation, and how can you help the local real estate agent? How can more board executives help the local real estate agent?
So one of the things that the local association does, or your local association can provide, and especially and specifically with the Eastern Bergen County Board of Realtors, is that we are here to provide benefits to our members. So every member annually is billed. And a lot of members don't realize this, but when they are billed on a 3-tier system: national, state, and local. All right. So you pay a third of your member billing is for the national, a third goes to the state, and a third goes to your local. So as the local association, members have the opportunity to attend free events, free classes, free educational opportunities, so that they can be able to use, let's say, updated classes on tech, maybe perhaps continuing education classes, designation classes, let's say at preferred pricing, things of that resource. If they know of someone that wants to get perhaps more involved or give back to the community, we have the platform with different committees that allow them to get involved and participate in the communities where our members live and work. So there's a number of resources that can be used, and we're not here for everyone to perhaps say, hey, come on board and do everything that we offer, but take advantage of what you're already paying for,
Right. I find it, that's I'm really glad you brought that up, because a lot of people, oddly enough, they say the board when they're talking about MLS. They say, all this money I pay to the board. Well, honestly, I'm going to give you my opinion. First of all, they complain that it's always due around January 1st. Well, it is every year, so plan for it. So don't complain about it.
And actually the deadline is December 31st.
December 31st, right. I get that. The other thing is that what do we get for our money? Well, you know what? Look into it, because they don't even know. I'm going to tell you that I think 50% of the agents don't know that about a third goes to the state, about a third goes to the national, right? They think that the local board's getting all this money, right? I think it's really important to have a really active and really in tune board of directors and a board of realtors. Where do you see the biggest changes coming today for the local boards and the local real estate industries? Where do you see big change? Do you see big change, or do you see it going on as it is even with the technology?
No, there's a lot of actual changes occurring within the back end of the industry itself. Most recently, an article was released over the summer. A local association in the New York area, along with the Long Island Board of Realtors, will be creating a regional MLS. And that's set to debut as of next year. Most recently in Florida, a regional MLS that is active down there. An association now in Puerto Rico has gone ahead and confirmed that they will be joining that regional MLS system that they have. So yes, 2 points really right now is that a lot of realtors may not realize that there are two differences when they say, oh, I paid my dues. Well, perhaps you've paid your MLS dues, and that's one component of it, or perhaps you're speaking of your association dues, and that's when it comes to National Association of Realtors, New Jersey Realtors, and your local board. Separate. And then back on the MLS topic, there is a lot of change within that occurring as well. And associations are seeing how that is occurring throughout the country and what is occurring in reference to perhaps consolidations or perhaps regionalized MLSs. So there are changes occurring, and these are things that we as an association are always looking to see, what can we do better? What can we do to help the broker, to help the realtor, to help the agent, essentially, because they are our members. We are here only because of that.
As you know, I've been a member of the board of directors of local MLS for time. One of the things that there's always been some issue as far as growth, and everybody wants to remain, tight knit and everything. And I hear more and more from almost every agent I talk to outside the realm of being on committees and stuff is, why don't we have just one MLS for the state of New Jersey? Or why don't all the states have their own MLSs? Why are there so many of them? And it's like, oh, well, it's all strategic and stuff. And
well, I mean,
I'm for it actually. So, and
yeah, I mean,
I'm not gonna like that, but that's too bad. I am for a state MLS.
yeah, I mean, listen, there's a lot of points of conversation for that type of topic. There have been a lot of changes throughout the year. One of the things you have to keep in mind is that each MLS, for the most part, although um, they are set throughout different regions, whether it be the north or a county or the south or through
Right.
they cover different regions or different states. Each MLS has a different sort of back-end system. So they're all independent in what they are offering or how they're offering their technological points within the MLS system. So a lot of people can say, well, I prefer X over Z, or I really like Y MLS because it's great. So I think the topic of conversation is great, and I think it's going to lead us into what's going to occur down into the future. But it's one of those things where it's a little bit easier said than done.
Right. So so first, again, I want to thank you for coming on, and I want to ask you one final question.
Please.
Is if there was one thing message that you would like to get out as an executive officer, chief executive officer of a board of realtors, what would be that message that you would want to get out for people to understand? And it's like kind of like something that you see all the time, but you want to get that out. What would that be?
So the one message that I would really say is, listen, and we really reiterated at all of our new member orientation is take advantage of the platform that the association can provide to you. Take advantage, whether it is to restart your career or to launch your new career within the real estate industry. You are paying member dues, so why not take advantage of the tools and resources that the local board can help you? And by that, I don't just mean by attending classes or getting your CE done here, but there's so much more that even our committees themselves are doing, whether it's our community service by giving back, whether it's our CARE Foundation working with other nonprofit organizations within the Bergen County area, or even whether it is our Young Professional Network, our Global Council, Equal and Diversity Cultural Committee. There's a ton of different things, no matter what your niche may be or what type of niche you're looking to find. Use the associations to just help jumpstart your career. That's really what we'd like to get across to everybody.
Well, I couldn't agree with you more. It's like I always said, when I had a Century 21 franchise and I saw a lot of people complaining about, everybody's going to complain about their organization, right? And my opinion to them, my thought to them was really simple. You bought something, use what you paid for. It's like the treadmill, right? How many people buy a treadmill and you hang your clothes on it, or it's a dust collector? Look, I'm paying money for something, I'm going to use it. And there is so much available just at our board, just at the Eastern Bergen County Board of Realtors that people don't even know. And it's not only education, it's social events, and it's the CARE Foundation, as you said. There's so much there. I mean, it's fantastic. So again, George, thanks so much for coming on. I'm sure I'll see you soon, and great day. And keep doing what you're doing, man, because you're so important to our industry and the help and the insight that you give and your energy. Thanks again, man.
No worries. Listen, anything else, let me know. My door's always open. I appreciate it, and thank you so much for today. Sounds good?
All right, man. Take care.
Take care. All right, bye.